Hey gang, EverQuest is officially 19 years of age, and today we're going to be talking about all the past history, the memories, the nostalgia, and why I believe EverQuest is still, to this day, very special. So what you're seeing here, gang, is a video I made for EverQuest's 13th anniversary. And if you look at the game in 2018, you don't see much. You had to kind of been there. Because this game, in my opinion, started it all. From the raid mechanics, to the group play, to the dungeon crawls. This EverQuest was where it was at. In fact, I recall back in the day, and if you watch other EverQuest videos, people will tell you, people had to get the internet. And a lot of people back then were like, what's the internet? You know, and you're like, AOL, dude. You know what I mean? But EverQuest still, to this day, is still going strong. You may not believe it, but you can go to Twitter and search the hashtag EverQuest, and comments flood in. And it's amazing. It's amazing that this game is still going. It's amazing that the community is non-toxic. You get into EverQuest and people want to help you. People want to teach you how to play your class, and the content is just crazy. I mean, it's 19 years worth of content. How can you get bored? Yeah, we made some videos on how to PL your toon, but honestly, when I play EverQuest, I don't even want to PL. I want to play my character. I want to go out and explore the new zones. I want to go out and quest. I want to learn all my AAs. I want to learn my mechanics. I want to be the best that I can be. And from druid kiting to necro kiting to bard kiting to swarm kiting, I mean, it's just crazy. It's still to this day very unique in my opinion. And today we're going to talk about EverQuest. We're going to talk about 19 years of EverQuest and how it's still, in my opinion, very strong. Every time I come back, I always make a new memory. I always do, whether it's if I get some of my friends to try it out or if I just meet new people. Because it's not your queue for a dungeon and just do your dungeon and call it a day. It's not that type of game. It's an adventure game. It's an experience that you really can't relate to unless you were there when EverQuest launched. And we're talking 19 years. So this is one of my first characters I ever made, and I thought it'd be fitting since we're going to be visiting old zones and talk about old memories and that sort of thing. This guy, or this lizard, is pretty old. May 6th of 2000. He's pretty ancient. So, let's go. This is Vexer. This was one of my stomping grounds. This is where I made my plat. This is where I got my AAs. This is Necro Heaven. Now when you zone in, of course, you got these goblins. But we're gonna take a little trip and just check out some of the mobs I used to kill. I have a cool story further down in. These are gonna be undead, so we need to... Did that work? I don't know. Let's see if I can remember the way I used to take. This was one of my favorite areas. It was called the shop. You had a guy that spawned right here. And up here, you had 3 more mobs. And you had a mob spawn right here. Made a lot of money. Back then, it took a group to take this camp. As a necromancer, you know, charm 1, you have all your undead direct damage spells, quite a bit of fun. I made a lot of money just by camping these 2 rooms. There was a belt back in the day, Soul Scream belt, sold for a lot of plat back then, and this was before Defiant gear, so it was quite an upgrade to a lot of people. And the coolest part was you could come up here, AFK if you need, med if you need, then you would come back down here and do it all again. Of course, it gets tough because you had to split. You had to split one of these mobs, come back here in this corner and be very careful, keeping in mind there's a named right here. By the time you would do that, you'd have to do this room, which, as you saw earlier, there's I believe a mob here, and then the name spawns back here. It was tough, but it was so fun to solo. And then if you really feeling antsy and you wanted XP, you would just clear this room as well. But anyway, off to my favorite spot. These are where the higher level mobs were, 61 to 67, I believe. Pretty crazy. But I'm just gonna pop my epic here. Have him deal with them. But over here in this next room was one of my favorite memories in EverQuest. There was a boss. He was level 65, and at the time I could solo him at 62, 63, which was pretty insane back then. And I just remember a whole group of people watching me do it several times. And normally it took a group to take down this guy. Let's see if I can find his name. So there he is. This is the guy. This guy was a beast to kill, and dropped some pretty good loot. And I could solo him. Let's just kill him for old time's sake. Send in my pet, do a little Bane strike. Oh, can't do it on that. So we'll throw a dot on him. We'll throw 2 dots on him. Get some archers. You see, it still takes a minute. And ooh, what did he drop? Oh yes. I used to take my warrior here, log him out in case this thing dropped. It finally did. So that's cool. I'll put this in my house or something. It looks like it would hurt. Alright. So that was cool. I got to kill him again, and that was nothing. But used to, I'd have to post up in this corner, wait for him to spawn, slow him, pop all my pets, all my cooldowns, and it was always a really close fight. It'd always end with me being like 10% health or something. And here we are in the Plane of Fire. This was where I would take tons of friends of mine. We would go to the C2 camp, Castle 2, and we would basically power level. I would swarm kite, or if I had a druid with me or a mage with me, you know, we'd group them all up together and just AoE them down. And it was a good way to get from like level 63, 4 to like 70s, early 70s. It was really great. Now I'm gonna need some lead, and I don't know where all my AAs are, so let me go ahead and just levitate. Let's just do damn it floating. Wait for it to get done. There we go. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run to the tippity top of the side here. Alright, here we are. Trick is to get some momentum going. And I don't think I'm gonna make it. I gotta make it to the top. I made it. Okay, cool. Because you cannot run through the wall down there. But once you make it here, you're good. Now, we have to hope and pray that the big birds aren't up. And I see one. Okay, this is gonna be a little dangerous because this guy will charm me and I will die. And I believe that's for any level. You gotta have someone to sacrifice himself. So we are going to... This is C1, by the way. This is Castle 1. This is your lower level mobs. I don't remember what level. But, oh god, here we go. Please don't see me, dude. Please don't see me, dude. This was a... Oh, he saw me! Damn it! Well, this is me for a minute, so there will be a cutscene here. I'm this guy's bitch. Some time has passed. I managed to feign death. So... Oh man, I'm turned around. Okay, so I need to go that way. And I'm facing that way. Wow. I'm probably gonna die again. No. Feign death. Oh yeah, sucker. Let's see if we can do this. I don't know why I'm envisioning he can see me. This is these were raid bosses, by the way, back in the day. And this place is real cool to me because you had to be flagged to get into the elemental planes, plane of fire, plane of earth, plane of storm, plane of water. And if you had enough people, you could get pushed into a zone. I got pushed and looted a raid piece of gear on this tune. Still have it in my bank somewhere. I have a bracer that had Flowing Thought 3 on it, and back in the day that was so nice. You can see all the corpses down there. That tells you something. These two mobs they're tough even to this day. So here we go again. We're gonna I made it. Okay. So this is I believe they called this, this area the field? Was it the field? I don't know. So anyway, this is the entrance to C2, Castle 2. And I've recently I was playing EverQuest maybe almost a year ago, and I was bringing some friends here, and we could clear this whole castle. We had a little downtime. Back in the day, when your boy was a young little Ixar, I could come in this room. This is called the tables, and you always had to fight other necros for it, because you could basically snare the mobs and just kite them around, dot them up. We'll just do one for funsies. Of course, I'm way higher level now. I believe this tune is 102. We'll just throw a couple of dots on. I doubt my fire dot will take, because these guys are resistant to fire, of course. Yep, still won't take a 93 level fire spell. But anyway, yeah, you would get aggro with your dots, stick your pet on them, and they die. But yeah, this is one of my favorite spots. Raid event would start here, and you would go all the way up that little maze area, and you would fight the god here. I can't think of his name. Is it Finenro? I don't know. Correct me if you know. And here we are at Caesura. I only want to show you guys this zone. I know it's another ancient Cunard zone, but there's a pit somewhere. And of course, you can imagine back in the day having to creep along. There was a hidden floor. I don't know if I can find it anymore. Okay, so I think it's down here. This is not so hidden, but get on down here. This is what I'm talking about. A buddy of mine had never been here, and we fell down into this pit of spiders. Mind you, we are the same level of all these spiders, and it seemed like we were fighting these things off for hours and hours, near death every 5 seconds, but somehow we managed to keep everybody healed and everybody up and alive. But just tons and tons and tons of spiders. Later on, we got to know this zone, and I went on to go deeper and kill a boss for these bag drops. It was pretty decent bags back in the day. It had a 10% weight reduction, if I remember correctly. I don't know. It's been a while. Stop a second. I gotta tell a quick story. This is my second tune that I'm on. My first tune was actually a Wood Elf Druid, and started out in this zone, Greater Fate Arc. And back then, I don't believe we had maps. I don't recall maps. I recall a skill called True North, and that's all you had. And I remember venturing off into the woods of Greater Fate Arc, and out of nowhere, an orc oracle falls from one of these trees, kills me, and I could not find my corpse. And is that him? Oh, I was about to get revenge. Anyway, an oracle. He falls out of a tree, kills me, and it was 3, 4 in the morning when this happened, and I looked everywhere for those corpses. I've tried getting help. Long story short, back then, if you didn't loot your corpse, you lost everything. And I had some rawhide gear, some AC1, AC2 gear. I think I had a little bit of poison resist on some of my gear, and I felt devastated. So yeah, just wanted to share that moment with you guys. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and head to Crushbone. And of course, how could I record a video about EverQuest memories without going over Crushbone? For many and myself, Crushbone was the first zone that you worked for. You were outside killing bats and wolves and skeletons to get into Crushbone, man. It was the place you wanted to be. And oh man, this little area, the entrance, so many trains, so many people have made macros that said train to zone, kind of like the place in Dreadlands, Cranor's Castle, you know, because this zone, and then there's Cranor's Castle, if I'm saying that correct, you know, train heavy. I mean, you had orcs everywhere, and I remember just barely being able to handle the Centaurians right here. If you had 2 pawns like right now, you'd be set up, man. If you got in here, you sat in this little corner and played your cards right and cast the right spells and had a good healer, you were set. This would be some XP, because you could take 1 Centaurian if you had a good group. But anyway, this is Crushbone. I believe up here we have Trainer's Hill. Drops the shield of I forgot the name of the shield. Let's see if he's up. Or Trainer. Do you have your shield? I don't see it on you. Oh, what? That's embarrassing. You don't have it. Okay, anyway. You old schoolers know what I'm talking about. I think this was the slaver camp. I'm not sure. Maybe. It's been so long. I have not seen this zone in years. Oh yeah, you would kill the orc and you would give these guys the key and you would get a little extra XP. I remember. Here we are. The castle. The group you want to be in. I have a really funny story here. So let's go in. Gotta be careful. Don't want to get blood on you. Ew, that is so gross. Anyway. So this is where all the tough orcs are. Then you have Clan Crush. Or, I'm sorry, Emperor Crush. I remember. He spawns where this Legionnaire is. And a couple of other names. I can't remember them all. So, me and my brother were here. I got him into the game. And, you know, of course, you would fight your way in here. And you would just chill on this little table. And your group would do your thing. As you can see, back in the day, you had to have some CC. You had to have a good healer. Otherwise, you'd be just fighting all of those at once. And that ain't happening. Anyway, the point of the story is that we were gaming for hours. And we had the castle. We wanted to keep the castle. And so what we did was we decided to just finally take a break. And we were going to run to the store to get some smokes and Pepsis. Well, my brother forgot to log out. And so he's just sitting here. And he's a wizard. And they thought that he went AFK. This was way back in the day. They thought he was the healer. And we were gone for 45 minutes. And we came back to read the chat. And it was things like, oh my god, keep the healer alive. He's AFK. Keep him alive. And so we came back and we were freaking out. It was pretty funny. And so he gets on. He's like, dude, I'm a wizard. I can't heal. And they kicked him from the group. But yeah, that was a good memory. But back here is where Ambassador Devin. Oh, there's a royal guard. Whoa. He can see me. Anyway. Oh, there's Emperor Crush. Does he spawn in two places? That's weird. Okay, I'll take it. It's an upgrade, man. So, I'm confused. I didn't know he spawned up there. I know Ambassador Devin spawns up there. And he was a dark elf. He was the only dark elf in the zone because it's all orcs. And man, when you saw him, you ran. Unless you had a super good group or two groups to kill him. So not only would you make a lot of friends in this zone, but you would come here and you would collect crushbone belts and shoulder pads. And then when your bags are full, your whole group would take a journey to Butcher Block. Like 3 or 4 zones away. I believe you had to take a boat, if I remember correctly. Then you would go through the Dwarven City, and you would have to find the NPC to turn in your belts and shoulder pads in exchange for XP and some decent money back then. And that was an awesome experience. You know, you come here, you grind, you fill up your bags, you make the journey, you come back, you grind, and you grind. and your grind. A lot of times you would make friends on the way to Butcher Block to turn in your belts and pads because you didn't know the way. There was no such thing as maps, and you would have to remember the zone, remember the path you take, remember where the docks are. You would have to, you know, find the NPC once you got there. And not only that, you had to be a race that was friendly to the dwarves. Anyway, that's all I'm going to touch on with Crushbone, but I had to come back here. I mean, this is just tons of memories, tons of hours, and a lot of fun. Now, there's no way I can fit all my memories and all my favorite zones into one little video, so the ones I went over were just the ones that kind of just popped in my head when I started making the video. But there are just tons of zones I could go over. I remember going through Lava Storm and going to Soul B, Nagy's Lair, killing the bat, seeing how far I can go in the dungeon. I remember Split Paw, which is apparently taken over by the elementals now. There's no gnolls. Apparently they killed them all. I remember watching my friend's guild try for weeks and weeks on end in this pit right here to try to kill Ralizek the Warlord, to my guild, killing this guy right here for me to get that little one-handed weapon he has, for that spell haste you see there. It was so awesome. I mean, I loved that item. It looked so cool back in the day too. I remember South Carolina killing the Aviax in that fort back there. I remember going to Lake Wrath, killing these gnolls. The XP here was crazy. It was pre-Luckland. The XP was insane. Split pulling that camp. It was crazy. I remember dying in North Row from a ghoul. That sounds funny, but it's not just any ghoul. I'll tell you right now, when nighttime came, they would chase you down, they would hunt you down, they would kill you down, and you'd be down, and it would suck, but it was a memory. It was cool. I miss it. Dragonscale Hills here. I remember that. All the quests I did when I came back to the game. Going inside the Mechanical Guardian. Dungeon crawling in Blood Moon Keep here. I remember kill steals in this zone. Wraith Mountains. Oh my god, these giants here dropped a ton of plat back in the day. Again, pre-Luckland. It was nuts. And you would get kills stolen from you all the time. Everybody wanted the giant camp. And it was just nuts. You got lucky if you did. I remember recently coming back to the game a few years ago, actually, doing the Plane of War when it came out, and that was a lot of fun. It was a heck of a lot of fun, actually. And it goes on and on and on. When Luckland came out, we all went to the store, we all got the game, and around midnight, the Luckland was going live on our server, and they had these spires throughout the world, and every 15 minutes, they port you to the moon. They port you to a zone called the Nexus, which we're about to cover here in a minute. And when we were at the one in Greater Fadark, I believe. And it was just packed. It was, I can't make this up. It was raining cats and dogs. A druid, could have been a ranger, was in wolf form. He climbed to the top, and he fell to his death. Someone had to res him. I believe it was my brother. But it was just good memories. I'll never forget it. A wolf falls in front of our faces, dies, and my dad's all like, well, it's raining cats and dogs. And I don't know, it'll always stick in my head. But it was the first, Luckland was the first zone, expansion that eased transportation, you know. It included mounts and these portals you see here. You didn't have to take boats. You didn't have to run for hours and hours throughout the night. You had transportation. You had these little portals. Pretty neat. And we're going to the Nexus. The spires are taking off. So back in the day, Luckland comes out. You take a spire. This is your first zone that you see, it is the Nexus. This was the social hub. There was no plane of knowledge. There was no guild lobby. This is it. So just imagine all the people AFK here for mass group buffs. And the next zone over was the Bazaar, which introduced trading in a more sufficient way, but less social way, I guess you could say. You could slash trade and fill up trader bags and sell gear and go there and buy gear. There was no more meeting up in the the common lands or meeting up in Quanos. It was much easier when that came out. But if you look at the map here, you see there's Velius, Fader, and Hanukkah, and Kunark. Those were the 4 spires you could take. And it was awesome because you could get from one side of the world to the other, because you could just port up here. You'd have to wait a bit of time, but if I recall correct, a boat ride was pretty long too back in the day. So it was just a nice way to get around Norrath. It really was. It was a really nice shortcut. The next expansion was Plains of Power, which was so good. That expansion changed everything. Plane of Knowledge, you had all these books, it was even easier to get around. So it was really awesome. Luckland was one of my favorite expansions though, from all the zones for grinding. You had SSRA, you had Vextal, you had, Scarlet Desert, the Gray, tons of good zones. Dawn Shroud Peaks, if I remember right. Oh man, Marasuru, Netherbean Lair, which is the next zone over. It was XP heaven. It was crazy good. They introduced mounts. I'll stop. So let's talk about this little area here in the Common Lands. It doesn't look like it used to, but if you didn't trade in Quanos, you traded here in the East Common Land tunnels. And it doesn't even look the same. They revamped the graphics. And it could be that kind of sense, if you ever visited an old house you grew up in, and when you was a kid it was a lot bigger. That's how I feel right now. I remember my dad saved up like 5k plat, which was a lot back then, and got a pretty sweet deal on a flowing black silk sash for my monk. It dropped in Lower Guck, I believe. And he got it for me for my birthday. And that was like the best freaking birthday gift ever. I will never forget, because when they traded here, it was like, want to sell, blah, 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 meet me at T2 for torch 2. And you would go to these little torches here, and you would meet the person, and you would do the trade. But that was a happy birthday for me, man. I put that sash on my monk, and I had, 15% haste or 10% haste? I can't remember, but my monk was super fast. And what was cool is while you came here and you traded and whatnot, out here in this little opening right here would be the people that would duel. You always had a show going on. There'd be a monk versus a monk, or mage versus mage, and it was always cool to see who came out on top. It was just neat. It was pre-Luckland, so there was no bazaar. You literally had to network through the trade chat, and it's pretty cool. And that owl is getting on my nerves, so we're gonna move on. So EverQuest, right now, 2018, you log in. At the time of this video, there is the 5th through 13th anniversary going on. You can check your event window. I've already clicked off. This thing was pretty full earlier, but I've been, checking them out. Lots and lots of stuff to do right now. And let's just talk about this. This is new to me. A find item window. What? I mean, after 19 years, we get a find window. That is freaking awesome. I typed in belt of torture, it found it, it's on my waist. Boom. That is freaking awesome. Good job, EverQuest. Also, here lately, I've noticed that you can log out instantly if you're in a city. That is also cool. Instant camping. Like it. Aside from the anniversary events going on, there's a lot to do. I mean, I'm at my house right now, from player housing to raiding. Fortunately, on my server, there's an after-hours system where you can raid on the weekends late at night. There's heroic adventures, which are basically dungeon grinds for an alternate currency for awesome gear that you can even equip for free-to-play accounts. In fact, that's all this tune is wearing right now, so I don't even have to sub to play this guy. And you may hear a lot, "Oh, people still play EverQuest?" Yeah. Whoa. Look at those shoes. Those look nice. Looking sharp, Mr. Razor Sharp. Oh, I found something. It's a little gnome. It's a gnome. Where you going? Where you going, gnome? Where you going, gnomey? My homie? That was dumb. Hey, buddy. Where you going? Oh, you're gonna talk to the other gnome. That's cool. And not only do people still play the game, but once you get in the game and they know you're new, you're a true new player, they will help you. What is this going on right here? Look at this guy. He's a boxer. What a freak. Anyway, this is FCSeven. He happens to have his own YouTube channel full of content. He puts up content all the time on YouTube as well, and he happens to be on my server. I just want to give him a quick shout out and direct you guys to his channel because he is consistently putting out EverQuest video. He does some epic walkthroughs, weapon quest walkthroughs. He's done anniversary things. He's done solo spots. He's done for necros. He's done quite a bit of stuff, and he consistently puts up material. So go check him out. So I want to thank you guys for sticking with me through this lengthy video. It was fun to go back and feed my nostalgic itch, and please be sure to check out. Who are you, man? You're in my shot. So disregard this man. People are still playing. I encourage you to jump in and play. If you want to add me, I'm on Tunair/7th Hammer server. Thank you guys for watching, and please, I want to hear from you. Be sure to comment your favorite memory in EverQuest. Like I said, it was impossible to fit all mine in one video. So please be sure to like this video, guys, especially if you're an EQer. Leave your favorite memory down in the comments, and please subscribe because we're going to be doing some more EverQuest in the near future.